The Leesburg Fire Department turns 150 years old this year. Established in 1875, the first LFD was staffed by neighbors, and fires were fought by bucket brigades. It's safe to say the department has come a long way since its inception, and today we're taking a look back at the Leesburg Fire Department's history, how it's evolved to present day, and what the future holds for the next generation of Leesburg firefighters. Welcome to Inside Leesburg. I'm your host, Katie Sartoris. On today's edition, we are honoring a true Leesburg institution, the Leesburg Fire Department, celebrating 150 years of service to our community. For a century and a half, the department's men and women have stood ready to protect lives and property through dedication, courage, and innovation. On today's special episode, I'll talk with Fire Chief Joe Mira and Deputy Chief Ryan Henry about the department's proud history, its people, and its future. Let's begin with Chief Mira. Chief, thank you so much for being here today, and congratulations on this gigantic milestone.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with a little bit of history. How did the department start back in 1875?
Sure, so like many fire departments probably started along the way, it was just a grassroots effort, local citizens, volunteers, if you will, and they just formed a bucket brigade. So in times of fire, whoever could just come and grab a bucket and do the best they could with what they had.
Yeah. And what were some of the biggest challenges in those early days?
So if I had to reflect back on if I was a fire chief in those days, I would say, as compared to now, probably the biggest single challenge they faced was communications. So fire, the big thing about fire is early notification, early detection. Time is our enemy. So if you can imagine back in the 1800s, telephone hasn't been invented yet. No radios, so the time that would take to call the alarm, to notify the firefighters, and even coordinate the firefighting efforts, that had been the biggest challenge to them as compared to what we have now.
Yeah. Looking back, what key events or milestones stand out as defining moments for the Leesburg Fire Department?
So there's been, in our history, many things that happen. I think probably some of the more interesting things that happened along our way. So back in the 70s and 80s, we ran the ambulance service out of the fire department. There's photos at the station of vans and modified station wagons that were the ambulances that were ran out of the fire station. That's a big one. And then after that went away, there was a kind of a period of time that in the early 2000s, we were the first fire department in this county to start providing advanced life support. And now all the agencies provide it.
Right, right. Now, how has the department evolved in size, technology, and service over these last 150 years?
Sure, so just imagine 150 years ago, Leesburg was just a small downtown, right, very compact area. And now we service an area, the city limits are over 25 square miles. Through various agreements that the fire department has and the city has with the county and other agencies, we protect an area of almost 100 square miles that we assist. So just in size, geographically, our population has grown tremendously. There are some maps that show the city of Leesburg in the early 1900s, and there was actually 2 fire stations then. Wow. City Hall, the first floor of City Hall was the fire station, and across the street, which became the library and now it's offices, that was actually the stables for the horses.
Wow.
So it's come a long way.
What traditions or values continue to guide your department today?
Certainly. So I would say service, honor, traditions, brotherhood, bravery. These are all things that they're not even in our policies anywhere. It's just a culture that the men and women here have created and that they carry on. It's passed on from generation to generation.
So, Chief, how long have you been with the department and what has changed since then?
Certainly. So I got hired at Leesburg in February of 2002. Before that, I started off the fire service. I was a volunteer in Marion County in 1995. And I was at Marion County for a few years as a volunteer, and that just solidified my desire to be a firefighter paramedic. I got hired eventually with the villages. I was still waiting for a position to open up in Leesburg. I just wanted to be a Leesburg fireman. From there, I worked at Claremont for about a year or so, and then that position came available as a fireman, and I applied at Leesburg, and the rest is, as they say, history.
Why Leesburg?
I worked at the ambulance service for a period of time, and I worked and ran calls along with many departments, many great departments. But Leesburg, for me, was what I envisioned a fire department to be like. It was the thing I wanted to do. So although there's a lot of great departments, and I worked at a couple of great departments, it just wasn't the fit for me. And I really just wanted this culture that I saw then to be part of that.
And you became chief in 2022. Was that always an aspiration of yours?
No, not at all. I'd never aspired to be the fire chief. I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to kick indoors and fight fire. But being the chief has probably been as equally or more rewarding as being a fireman. Only because as a chief, you know, my influence reaches through the whole department, so I can influence those things. So although I'm not doing them anymore, I'm doing them by proxy.
So what has changed in your time with the department?
So probably the easiest thing that you could pick out is the influence of technology on firefighting, and a lot of that's good. For example, what we have now is thermal imaging cameras, right? And they are easy to use. They're very, very portable. In the early days, thermal imaging cameras were probably the size of some of your TV monitors. They were just huge, large, unwieldy things. So that type of stuff. When I first got hired, all of our extrication equipment, the jaws of life, if you will, they're all gasoline powered. And now we're all transitioned over to battery operated electric. So I think technology has played a big part. A lot of it's good, but some of it poses additional challenges for us.
And how would you describe the relationship between the department and the community that it serves?
So I would say we have a great relationship. We try to be involved in the community as much as we can through other than emergency responses. But even our emergency responses, I believe that we do an excellent job of serving the citizens in their moment of need.
Yeah. And as chief, what are your goals for the next generation of firefighters?
Certainly. So I would hope that they would take what we have accomplished so far and just take it the next level. Yeah. Continue what we're doing, take the good, amplify it, and just continue to create a culture that is focused on saving lives and property.
So I understand you've been looking into the history of the Leesburg Fire Department to kind of prepare for the 150th anniversary. Are there any stories you'd like to share?
Certainly. So in research and from my presentation to the Leesburg Historic Society, I went back and looked through some log books. They're basically bound books that they would write, you know, the report on. The address, the fire, what was the cause, and just their narrative. And so we all knew that we lost a chief in the early 1900s due to a fire, but none of us really knew any details or anything. It's just something that was passed on from generation to generation. So in preparing for this presentation I had to do, I was able to actually find the logbook and the logbook entry for this fire. Back in those days, there was two chiefs, the chief and the assistant chief, and they were brothers. Chief Stevens was their name. So, and it was kind of funny because in the logbook, Ned Stevens he's the chief that passed away. He died in the fire. He would write all the reports and he'd sign his name at the bottom of the logbook. After the fire, the very next page, it was his brother signing the reports because he had obviously passed away. But the story goes, and you know, this is not to glamorize death or to, you know, that I want my firemen to needlessly risk their lives. But I think it's a excellent example of what's in our DNA, and that is the service over self. And that was the story goes that they responded to this fire, the two chiefs with the rest of the department, those three other members coming, and the fire truck had one air pack on it. So the two brothers One donned the air pack, one didn't have the air pack, which was kind of how we operated back in those days. And they entered to look for apparently a kid that was trapped or lost in this fire. There wasn't a kid found, and shortly after exiting, Chief Stevens passed away, more than likely due to carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, wow, that's a powerful story.
It is. It's just a reminder of what is in our DNA, that we will risk that to save that.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
Absolutely, absolutely. So reflecting back and looking at the 150th anniversary this year, what would you say is the Leesburg Fire Department's legacy?
So I would say to people looking back that for the last 150 years, men and women from Leesburg stood by day and night ready to answer the call. And I think that our legacy, what we've done and what we do every day, speaks for itself. That we have a dedicated department of men and women that are ready to answer the call and bring forth the technology, the training, and the sheer just grit that we bring to the fight. Absolutely.
Chief, thank you so much for being here today, sharing your stories and your insights, and congratulations again on this incredible milestone.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, I'll sit down with Deputy Chief Ryan Henry to talk about how the department continues to build on that proud tradition today.